Though. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks so much for being in here. Me, good morning. Coin Junkie, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Siren, as always, thank you for being here. Hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you're smashing that like button and let's get that number up. You can see that I've got a way to do the likes. Hopefully it works. It stays there. So we will check that out. We will see. I have to do a little bit of adjustment on it real fast. There we go. I found a way to do likes, but it's kind of a pain in the tuchus. So I'm going to look at it, monitor it, and see if it's worth it. But right now, it doesn't. There's too much work involved, so I don't know if I want to try this again. Silver Spur, what's going on? Hey, Darren. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Good morning, Roxilla. Thank you guys for popping in. 97 bucks for an ASC. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about maybe some reasons behind it. We're just kind of speculation. The Coin Show podcast talked about this yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, didn't get to see it. I'm not sure exactly what they did. Fortunately, Paula did. So she's going to be talking about some of the stuff that they did. Yeah, it's nuts. It's insane. Entirely too much money. The regular one's 95. They're charging $2 for a box. It's brilliant. Looking at some of the chit chat on Coin World, you want to see something funny? Google Coin World, congratulatory ASC, and then go look at some of the comments. Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts, and so you're going to have to do what's been done in the past, which is don't buy it from the mint and then get it on the secondary market. Hopefully you can get it in 3 months for way cheaper. We'll talk about some of the reasons why. We'll also go over some of the selections for the new American Liberty coin, both the silver and the gold. Hey, what's up, Great Scott? Good morning. Hey, Jackalope. Hope you're doing well. But first, hi, Paula.
Good morning.
How is you? Is?
Good morning, everybody. I'm good. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday.
$97 for an ASC. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I don't collect them, so yeah, whatever. I'll wait. If I want a 2025 ASC proof, I'll wait a year or so, and I'll get it on the aftermarket
When they drop down?
Half the price.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane. It's like, what the hell? Now, this is one thing, and I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit. We'll talk about the pricing. So one thing I want people to look at is the average cost increase. Now, Paula told me this morning, look at the clad coinage. The clad coinage went up. What did you say?
15%.
15%. Now, I want you to think about that, folks. The standard American, okay, standard person living on Social Security, the person getting VA benefits, most of you guys in the normal workforce saw between a 1.5% and a 3% increase in your total earnings. And they're charging 15% on an increase. It's insane. There's no way for us to keep up. Again, this is hyperinflation. We talk about this. There's going to have to be hyperinflation if we want to avoid, recession, or not just recession, but a complete devaluation of the U.S. currency, thanks to all the crap that's gone on. So there's going to be more of this, but this is just unreal. Yeah, and that's Roxilla. That's kind of that's my suggestion right now. But Paula and I were talking before, and one thing I want to do is I want Paula and I kind of just to rehash the conversation that we were having. I've got a couple other things I want to talk about. We're going to be talking about
minus the cuss words.
Minus the cuss words, yeah. Maybe we can keep a couple of them in there. Hey, Jack, big love, man. Thinking and praying for you. We put in a prayer request for uh, our church and said, hey, get your prayer team up there and do pray for Jack and his family and all the stuff that's going on. So been thinking about you. Got a lot of people praying for you. So I hope you're doing well, brother. Let us know. There are a lot of people pulling together for you. Um, so let us know if you need anything. Okay, brother? We love you. I'm also going to be talking about the new American Liberty. Um, some frustrations that I had. I talked to Paul about this. About, come on, folks. You guys are a big magazine. You guys should be looking at quality control. We'll be talking about some of that. So it should just be just kind of a just general chit chat about some of the items that are happening, what's going on. So make sure you're sticking around. I know you do, Jack. I can't imagine the only thing that would be harder than losing a spouse would be losing a kid. So um, big love to you, and again, we're doing everything that we can to try to come alongside you in this time. So we love you, buddy. So hopefully you can listen to this. It'll keep your mind off of some stuff. But just remember one thing in all this, okay, Jack? You're not alone. There's a ton of people behind you, ton of people standing beside you. And if you need anything, you're welcome to come into any stream. You can email me. I'll send you my number if you need it. And if you need somebody just to talk to or somebody to pray with, you let us know. We got your back. All right. So let's talk about this $97 ASE. Um, what do you think the potential reasons are, Paula?
Well, I think I'll start off at the top because I think the most likely explanation is that the Mint just wants to make more money.
Agree.
Now, I don't know if they have somebody predicting that silver is going to jump exponentially. I don't know. But yeah, I think that they just want to. Now, I mean, there's other theories on it, right? That they are trying to stop people from purchasing things from them. That they just want to stop people from buying from them. There is that theory. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Do they? Somebody said that their increase in prices for much of their proof stuff is because they want to have the San Francisco Mint available to strike other things. Um, and so if people stop buying the proof sets, they'll stop making them, or proof coins. They'll stop making them. There's all kinds of speculation. Um, they are in the business to make money, and yeah. So I don't know. But here's the thing. Will they? Because if they push the collector out, then nobody will be buying them.
Yeah,
Nobody will buy the product.
yeah,
So
and so my question
will this
is,
backfire? Will this backfire on them? I think it will.
so what is the congratulations coin for?
At least they put this out in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but what is the congratulations set for? What are we congratulating?
Any occasion that needs congratulating.
Okay,
Birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, yeah.
so instead of spending a
New
hundred
pair,
dollars
new
on a
pair.
so instead of spending $100 on a personalized plaque from a trophy shop with a
Yeah.
personally engraved information, congratulations, you've done it. Here's your accomplishment. Congratulations on your hole in one. Congratulations on the new baby. They're going to get you an ASE. A $97 ASE that is marked up 200, 300% over spot.
Mhm.
I don't see I don't see it, the need for it. I just don't see the purpose.
Buy them a gift card.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other things that could be put to better use. Now, granted, if you're sending it to a collector or something, I get it. I do understand. right? But again, I just don't understand why. Well, Jack, you wouldn't want to buy this one, right?
But you know what, Frostbite? A serious collector wants something that's going to at least in 10 years be the same value as what the price, what it was paid for.
yeah, you
You know
can't
what I
guarantee
mean?
this is going to be there.
Yeah, buy him a nice, I don't know, Trime.
Well, and that's what was said in the collectors. So when we
Yes.
are in the coin um, the coin world or the coin news net or whatever that article was, it's like buy them a nice collectible, a seated quarter, buy the or a standing liberty quarter, buy them. Um,
Okay.
if you're going to be spending $100 on something, buy somebody a 1996, right? Buy somebody an MS-66, MS-65, 1950D, full steps Jefferson nickel. You know what I mean? Buy something that actually is going to maintain some level of value. This is just an ASC. Now, you were talking about this before, and this is something else that I wanted to bring up and bring to people's attention. What's different between this and the bullion coin?
The strike and the planchet and but the silver content's exactly
It's
the same.
exactly the same. It's just the proof. But
Just
the
the look
regular
of it.
the regular proof is $2 cheaper if you don't want the fancy box, right?
Yeah. Well, you could buy them if they're an ASC collector, I don't know, find out what year they're missing in their collection, or I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm just saying that I don't understand, and
Right. Yeah.
this goes alongside of the new baby ornaments that they do for
Yeah.
Christmas and the woman's quarter ornament. What in the hell is the purpose for that? How many
Are
you
they doing
really?
a new baby ornament?
They do all that stuff for Christmas. They do all that kind of goofy.
They do a new baby one? I didn't know that.
Um, I can't.
But anyway, yeah,
You
I know, I get it. I understand what your point was. I'm just
it's just
saying.
like it's like what the hell. Now,
I was just
there are things about the U.S. Mint that I do like. There are some things that they're doing that I do appreciate. Um, I'm more right now looking at some of the processes that they're changing, some of the things that are being done. Hey, folks, make sure you're smashing that like button, okay? Um, but there's a lot of stuff that the Bureau of Engraving and Printing is doing for the new $100 bills, the new releases of the bills. There's way more information as far as what's happening with security. There's way more information about what's happening with the reprints, the coloration schemes that they're changing,
yeah,
little security features that are being put in. Right, like I get that. What the hell is happening with our coinage? Like,
I don't know.
what's going on that is interesting?
I have a
And
question for you, real quick though, before we move on to be past these congratulations sets. Scotty Aquati said people are selling them on eBay for $110. So, which is not much more than what the U.S. Mint is selling them for. And they're obviously those, you know, when did these just come out, these congratulations sets? So look at past years of congratulations sets. The values continually drop, or the asking prices, whatever, continually drop, because if you're going to buy a congratulations set for 2025, you want it to be an event that happened in 2025. Now, beyond a birth or a wedding anniversary, you're obviously not going to buy that for someone who's graduating in 2025 or 2026, that graduate. You know what I mean? Like it's all dependent on the year. Oh, they even increased the 2024 price too.
yeah,
Wow.
2024 price, they've increased them all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if
So
you go back and you look at the original release, Now, there's one thing that the U.S. Mint does. So I don't know if people are aware of this, but there's always 2 pages per coin, always. And you can go back and you can look at the original listing price. You have to know how to find it, but you can find the original listing price, and then you can find the normal price. So whatever they've increased it, so you can see the differences between their original listing and what it is now. Because these numbers here on the new site structure are tied to a pricing sheet. So when they change the pricing sheet, all their website stuff automatically updates. The way they used to do it is they used to do it per item, and so those price sheets, that the page never changed. They actually had to change it on the page. So the new methodology allows this number to cycle whenever they increase prices. It increases it across all product lines. Right?
I wonder if Numis Media, if they do that on Numis Media too.
Maybe. It's very likely. It's a good way of doing it. Number one, it alleviates the amount of variability you have across your product lines. So if you have a single pricing sheet that has everything listed and you call that particular line on the pricing sheet, doesn't matter which one of your products it is, that pricing sheet's going to always have the correct information. It will then transfer. It's a very smart way of doing it. It actually makes sense.
Just saying,
yeah.
You mean it no longer has the original sale price? Is that what you're saying?
On this particular page, no, because this is the most up-to-date one. If I go back and I look at the original release of this, now actually it might not even happen in 2024, because I think they changed the way that the site worked in 2022, when they had the big snafu with the 404 site unfound, fatal error, when everybody was trying to buy stuff, everything was catastrophic failures.
Gateway.
Yeah. So they did a total redesign of their site. If you remember Coins Making Sense, if I'm not mistaken, they would do a live stream on certain releases and watch the product values. They stopped that. They changed the entire way the site structure was working.
I know I know you can't go in and look at that. I do know that, yeah.
So that was the same time that they changed the linkages of the price points to that pricing sheet. And so they have one standard item, one list, one massive list of all the products, and then they have the codes, which are here. Where's the code? Right here, this item number. This item number on the sheet is tied to this, and whenever they find this item number, it's kind of an if-then statement. If, then, right? And so that's how they monitor that. And it's really easy. It's easy to update. It makes managing a website or something like that way, way, way easy. But they don't have to worry about it. But here's the thing that gets me. I don't understand. First release, $64. Where's the congratulations? Look, I just don't see 159, 144. Let's check and see what they got in here. 144 bucks. Huh? Yeah, let's see. I got to do 2020. I got to probably do 2022, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't look at the graded ones.
No.
People always ask for more on those. Yeah, right there, 70. There's 2023. Oh, that's not the congratulations.
Yeah. So they have a little bit higher. I mean, those one's
graded though.
Yeah, well, but that's what I'm talking about. Right? Oh. Even though it's graded, it's only $3 more, and that's a 2-year-old coin. It's just there's really no. I mean, I get it. Well, actually, you know what I got to do? I've got to be looking.
Sold listings?
No, that's what I'm just about to get there. Yeah, I forgot to click on that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
$69.
Congratulations.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. That's crazy.
Yeah, so they continue, I mean,
Yeah.
they historically
Fif-
drop, like, yeah.
$52.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. $61. Yeah. So again, folks, be watching this stuff, right? Wait, wait. Now, granted, if you're trying to buy a congratulations set, and you want it for 2025, you're obviously going to do that. But there's better options, way, way, way better options than spending $97 for something or $95. Last year it was 89, I think.
Yeah.
85, 85, 85 or 89. I can't remember. But again, you're talking about in 2 years, um, they lost a quarter of their total price. And this is slab. This is 70. So,
Right.
or 69. Sorry,
Doesn't
69.
matter.
Yeah, but again, I'm just, folks, just be smart about it, right? Um, I think that the U.S. the sole U.S. position, the job of the U.S. is to the U.S. Mint is to be profitable. That's the congressional mandate for this. And folks, remember, please smash that like if you're watching vertical. Double tap that screen. I'd appreciate it. Um, but again, it's ridiculous. I don't understand. What is spot price right now? Let's pull that up. At max, or no, not at max.
It's like $30.40 or something like
Go.
that.
Yeah. Kidco metals. What are we looking at? $30.46. So you're talking about a $66 premium.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Goofy.
200% premium. It's unreal. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
So again,
we also have to remember they have brand new equipment that they bought, and I'm sure that that's really was really expensive. So, well, they didn't buy it. We're buying it.
well,
Right?
but here's the thing. So if they utilize,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, I will say this: I do not know how much money the U.S. Mint gets as far as budgetary or equipment. I do know that it's not nearly as much as people think it will be. One thing that Ventress Gibson, and I do remember her saying stuff about this, is when the Coin Show podcast interviewed her. You want to go back and look at that. She did say that they don't get tons of money for equipment and stuff. It's basically on them to be profitable enough that they can turn around and put that money either back into the public coffer or pay for the upgrades and the things that needs to be done. So there's not a ton of money that goes to the U.S. Mint from tax appropriated funds. Okay. Now, I'm not saying the employees get paid through tax associated money, but the actual equipment and stuff like that, I don't know what the total dollar value is. I would really like to know what that is. I'd like to be able to see something and be able to kind of give people an understanding. However, she did state that when they did the interview. So go watch the interview, get her exact wording on that. But she was quite clear that they don't get full on range for that. We don't see that, right? Or they don't get that. Um, so I can't tell you how much money the U.S. Mint is utilizing towards the purchase of new equipment, but I can tell you this, and Paula and I were talking about this before we went live as well. $8 million in two coin sales last year for the um, for the gold flowing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
230 coins, $8 million. Um, that should pay for a ton of equipment. It's just a ridiculous amount of money, and so there shouldn't be there shouldn't be 300% increase over what the standard American's income is when you're upcharging money against something like this.
Mhm.
And I was pulling up circulating coins production. I was trying to find the dollar amounts that had been purchased by the U.S. Mint. I'm not sure if Silver Wolverine is in here. He could send me the URL. He's really good at that. But try to understand what the total dollar value is. I'd like to see what the total dollar value is in the increase between 2023 and 2024. We know that they did some stuff one-on-one with the Star Privy here in April. Now, that's another question here. I don't need to share this anymore. Let me stop sharing my screen. Excuse me for the teleportal stop. I don't know if there's going to be a massive increase in the production of the Eagle. Remember the Eagle, the Privy, the one that they're going to do? I don't know if they're going to do that. Do you think that with the game kind of flopping,
I haven't heard a single word about that second one coming out.
I would be curious to see if it even comes out.
Yeah, me too.
Because if you Google, and we've gone through this before, if you go back through and you Google that particular game and you talk about the Star Privy, there's nothing anywhere about it.
Because if
you
it
look,
was that popular, it would have sold out, and you can still buy them for
yeah,
$46 or
yeah,
whatever raw. Yeah. So by the tube, you can buy them. By the tubes.
the whole purpose of this is that don't fall victim to FOMO, right? Do not get so enamored by the marketing that people do, because again, marketing is only meant there to take your money. That's all they're trying to do. So I want to be very careful making sure that people are understanding what the potential is. Go back and look at that like we did here just a minute ago. Go back and look at those eBay sales. Look back at the information that's there and see what the valuation of the coins are. One thing that I'm going to be looking at, and I probably should have pulled this up ahead of time, but I didn't want to go down this, is the silver medal with Privy, and check the sold listings and see what the recent sell listings are for the certified coins with Privy, and see how they're holding their value. We look at some of the numbers that are there, looking at 2022 or 2024. 2024 with Privy Mark, $4,500, $4,500, $7,100,
Sold.
$4,100 sold listings.
Sold.
Sold listings.
And when was the last sold date?
December 24th, 2024, December 22nd, November 3rd, December 16th.
So not really recent.
No, Christmas was the last one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But again, where are they at? So are they maintaining their value? Something like this will hold their value far better than this congratulatory medal. But even this is going to continue to. I mean, what were they originally selling for? $6,000-$7,000, and now we're down to $4,500.
Yeah, they'll continue to drop just because there's all the hype in the very beginning, and people are really excited and everything, and then people after a while they're like, eh.
Yeah, and they will. Where did it go? There
That's
we
why
go.
I always tell you guys when something like that comes up, and you'll hear me say it almost probably 99% of the time when something is hot that comes out for the mint. I almost always tell people if you want to sell it now. Do it now. Don't sit on it and wait and hope that it goes up, because most of the time it does the opposite. Just like with like new coins, like even circulating coins that a new error is found, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell people, sell it now if you're gonna sell it, and your intention is just to make some money off of it. Do it now.
Yeah. And again, you've got to just do some research, right? And all I'm asking for you guys is to be diligent in looking at what it is you're trying to get and kind of compare what you have against the historical sales. So, for instance, we look here at the privy mark, right? We see this one again, sold listing December 24th, $4,500. If I would have sold the one that I had back when it was hot, I could have made an additional $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Great, good, outstanding. I want it. I'm keeping
Right.
mine,
But
right?
that's a lot of money, right? I mean,
Right.
that's significant drop.
Yeah. And so
So,
when
hmm
you look at this, is this going to continue to stay at $4,500? No.
no,
My call originally was this is going to settle somewhere between $3,800 and $4,100.
I think it's going to go down to about two.
I don't think it'll go down that far. It may in a few years, but I still don't think it'll go back because there were so few of them.
But there's also not that many people interested in them.
Yeah, but again, you're
As,
talking
as
certain
sorry, go ahead.
rarities will command. I'm well. You know what I'm really curious about? I want to see what happens with the. Hey, Robert, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. I want to see what happens with the gold privies. I want to see what the resale values on some of those are. Because you know there's got to be some people. You look at the price differences in some of them, like $17,000, $18,000 price difference between the low and the high, right? Um, I'd be curious to see
I
what
don't
those.
think we're going to see them on the secondary market for a while.
No, but I'd be
Possibly,
curious to
but
see where they're going to sit, and they're most likely going to be done, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. They're most likely going to be sold through registry, where they'll be sight unseen, right? They'll be owned in a registry, and then they'll just be transferred across. I'll lay wager there's going to be a bunch of them if they get sold. That's how they'll get sold. You know what I mean by that?
no, I know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It's anybody's guess, really. You know, um, the thing is with those flowing hair is, with rarities like that or whatever, a lot of times they're conditional rarities or whatever, but the interest has to be there for it to hold its value. The interest has to be there.
Agree.
And much of the ones that were sold by the US Mint were sold to flippers who were hoping to get the privy mark, and when they didn't, they either quickly flipped them or they returned them.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would be curious to see what the tally is. I wish the U.S. Mint would have allowed us to see how many people returned it just because they didn't get a privy.
oh, I'm sure there were a lot.
I wonder if that's the difference in total sales versus total production.
Yeah, if they don't count, if they
Yeah.
don't count, count them if they're returned. I don't
If
know.
that's the
And
case, that would be a third of them because that was a
Mhm.
very high number. Very high
Well,
number.
I told you when they first they decided to make it public, right,
Yep.
that they were doing this, as opposed to just hiding it like they did with the signed COAs. I can't remember what that was for, but it was like a special thing where some people got like a signed COA. Seems like it was like 2 years ago, but they didn't announce it. Like it was just something that happened, and then the word got out, and then people were like, "Oh, I have to check mine," or you know,
Yeah.
um,
I think that would have been. I mean, I get why the U.S. Mint did it. It definitely created um, some contention. I think unduly, if they would have done that to where it's like, by the way, all of a sudden you see this news article, man finds signed certificate in Privy Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I need to go look at mine. I never even opened it up, right? Um, I think that would have created um, like more value. Does that make sense?
And it does. And they made a big mistake, I
Yeah.
think, in my opinion, selling them to the bulk dealers
Oh, I agree.
ahead of time.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that was a huge mistake because every time they do stuff like that, they are slapping the regular collector in the face. And they're really putting a bitter taste in people's mouths. And just, um, are they doing it on purpose? Who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe the U.S. Mint just wants to be. I was telling Frostbite. I said, we have a an example from last year. They did two things where they didn't make them public to Joe Schmo collector. The
Yeah.
gold flowing air privy
Hmm.
and the star privy marked ASCs. They did those were private sales.
Yep.
So are they moving in that direction? Are they moving in the direction of where everything is going to be through bulk dealers or through private entities and they're going to close their shop completely? I don't know.
Hey, Tiger, what's going on, bud?
They need to stop making 100 of the same thing in with just little, minor little changes. That's what they need. Like, did we really need 7 different variations of the Harriet Tubman commem? I don't know. Did we? I think you can still buy them. I don't think a single one of them sold out.
Yeah. Well, the thing with that we talked about this is the number of coins that they did for that particular run too.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah,
Do
I
we
don't
really need?
understand. I don't understand. I'm trying to pull something up real fast. Why? What was the purpose of having 7 coins?
I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
What's
Um,
the purpose? So here's the you want a Paula rant? You're gonna get one. So Matt and Mike showed, and I ranted about this previously, and I'm going to do it at every opportunity I get since we're talking about the U.S. Mint. Here goes nothing.
okay.
Next year, 2026, I have been exceedingly excited for the semi-quincentennial. Like I've been talking about it as soon as they announced it and everything, I've been talking about it. The circulating coinage changes and everything. Well, so if you look at the quarters that they designed for the what is the semi-quincentennial? Let's start with that. Our semi-quincentennial is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. That's it.
Yep.
That is what we are celebrating. Everything that comes out in 2026 should be representative of the Declaration of Independence. There's plenty of choices, plenty of things they could do. What does the U.S. Mint choose to do? And I'm not saying these things aren't worthy of celebration because they are, but they should be celebrated separately. Women's suffrage, abolition. What's the other one? There's so these were all quarter design. Only one of the quarter designs has anything to do with the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Only one. That's your DEI crap. And I'm sorry, you may not like it, but it's true.
Oh no,
None of
no.
those have anything to do with the Declaration of Independence. They all came much later.
Hey, Joe.
And they should be celebrated, but on their own. Make a commemorative for women's suffrage in a different year or whatever.
Yep.
Don't lump it in with our semi-quincentennial. That was not necessary. So there you go. That's my rant
No,
for
well, but again,
in a nutshell. I did hear people say, well, they're putting things that are, that were leading up to the semi-quincentennial. No, no,
no.
no, no,
The
no.
the the intent is Constitution.
The
Declaration of
Declaration of
Independence,
Independence.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
They even did a
um,
constitution. That's another one. And that is separate.
yeah, yeah. And so
Separate.
again, if you're looking at,
What did it come 7 years later or something like that? Anyway, they need to yeah, it should be celebrated on its own.
yep. Hey, folks, we got 30 people in here, only 20 likes. Please smash that like button, please. It really helps the algorithm. Thank you.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, when you're looking at,
Okay, 2039. Okay.
yeah,
There you go.
when you're looking at the information that is put out, or you listen to one of the CAC conversations,
13.
it's aggravating. Because, and you still hear people, and it drives me insane. Like, I'm like, folks, you guys are politicians. We're not a
I know. Yeah.
we're not a constitution. We're a constitutional republic.
Right.
We're not a democracy. Like, you guys are in office. Learn what we are. It drives me insane to listen to those freaking people talk about, well, in our democracy needs. We're not a democracy, damn it.
They won't make changes, Bella's
Right.
Forge. They've already,
Yeah.
They're not going to make changes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, they already have the coinage pulled out. They've already got the approvals done. Yeah, it's not. You're not going to see changes in it. But what really drives me crazy, and I was going to pull this up, and I decided not to do this, just because it's a little bit whatever. Which was Ventress Gibson. I heard you. That little video that she put out, right?
And I ignored you.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly. That
I
is
heard
exactly.
you, and it went in one ear and out the other.
And that is exactly what's being said right now with the stuff that's being done. Yeah, we heard what you wanted, but we chose not to do that.
Yes, just like my toddler grandson heard me.
And so, again, now, with that being said, there were some things, and folks, you guys know that I promote channels that I like that provide good, solid information. So please go check out Coin Show Podcast. Oh, Paula.
Oh, what?
Look at the YouTube side.
Okay, hang on.
Look at the bottom left-hand corner.
Oh, I see that.
Live Coin Q&A has a spot now.
I know that guy. Hey, did you see Amanda's latest video?
Yeah, and you know what? As soon as I saw that, you know what I did?
What?
I never republished mine.
Well, you need to do that because it's, things like that ebb and flow, and they tend to come up and then they go away, and then they come up and then they go away. It's increased doubling is once again being discussed. So Amanda did a great video.
Yeah, I saw the thing pop up. We were doing a bunch of stuff last night trying to resolve some things, and my son is going to be joining the military, and he's trying to get all this stuff together.
Yay!
Yeah, he's
Navy?
Huh?
Is he? Of course, he's going Navy.
No.
No.
No, he's pushing for Air Force.
Yes.
Yeah, he's pushing for Air Force.
Yes.
And so they have to get some stuff done, and they have to go through and get things taken care of. So he's trying to get stuff that he didn't really care about before. He's trying to get stuff done. So we've been trying to get him to the clinic to get his physical done and get all that stuff checked out and make sure, because he's the one that went through a lot of problems. And he's really pulling himself together, trying really hard. He knows what he wants to do. Awesome. He's just having a hard time getting there. And
he'll get there. Keep pushing.
Well, that's what I told him. I'm like, hey, you're in a good spot, right? That's the important thing. So I didn't get to see the video. I didn't get to see Coin Show podcasts. But I'll probably I'm going to probably reach out to Matt and Mike and ask them if I can put something on, because I want people to be going there as well. They put out a lot of great information. And if you don't know what those folks do, who they work for, the kind of stuff that they deal with day in and day out, I think if you really understood the stuff that they had access to and they seen every day, um, you'd really begin to understand why they have the level of knowledge that they do. Um, so I'm gonna probably put something on here for Coin Show podcast, but I've got to talk to them about it before I just do it. I do have something on copper coins. I don't need to ask copper coins. I can just post that. You're good
Well,
with
if
it.
you want to promote Matt and Mike, and they don't do it,
So
they don't have a question about you. They
yeah,
have no problem with you promoting the Coin Show podcast.
it's just a permissions thing. I just need something to say that I can do that, so that if anything ever comes back, um, I'm not utilizing their stuff. It's a requirement. So
They
I
are
just need to get
awesome
the email
fellows.
saying yes. Um,
They're awesome.
I have a standing okay with you guys in copper coins, so I don't have to worry about that
Hey,
one.
can I mention something before it goes, because the stuff falls out of my
Yeah,
head
fire away.
by the minute. And you guys need to fact check me on this, but I believe that this is the year that by May, I think everybody has to have a real ID if you want to fly. I know it's completely unrelated to coins, unless you're going to the Tulsa Coin Show. So you may want to check that if you're planning on going anywhere after May. I believe that after May, you need to have a real ID to fly. I don't know why that popped in my head yesterday, but
The Real ID Act establishes requirements for driver's license identification card, U.S. states, territory, for federal government facilities, nuclear power plants, and boarding all flights in the United States. The act was passed and engaged in 2025 in response to 9/11's Commission and Standards for Identification Issuance. And it takes effect, I'm at Homeland Security,
May. Scotty Aquati said
in 114 days.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how much by May 7th, Great Scott said, I don't know how much
Yeah,
they have advertised. I have not seen much talked about it on the news. That's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys, because I know there are some people that are planning on going to Tulsa and stuff. And I'm gonna do, if you guys can remind me, if you guys want to do it, whatever, when you're on IDAs, maybe mention it, because yeah.
Yep. So here's the information. This is definitely something you guys want to document, write down. Make sure you're tracking this information. Again, 114 days. It is May 7th. Is a Great Scott. And so.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah. So they break out. They link you to each one of the facilities that you need. So if you're in Texas, you can click on Texas. If you're in Oklahoma, you can click on Oklahoma. If you're in wherever, it talks about what's needed, talks about all the stuff that happens, what you're going to have in order to do it. What is it? What's the impact? So if you haven't looked at this, go to this website. Let me do this. Let me throw this in chat real fast. And let me make sure that everybody has access to this. So yeah. I'm going to put this.
I just wanted to bring it up to you guys, because I just don't, I could see myself showing up at the airport, and I think I heard about it by accident. Or I wouldn't have even known if I was planning to go to Ida, it's like, I probably wouldn't have even, had I not just accidentally come across it. I may have been one of those that showed up at the airport and was like, "Dope. Okay, Ida, I'm not coming."
Yeah. We have all our stuff and passports and everything else, so I'm good with that. Not too worried about this. They have a new international flight.
No, military ID is not accepted, Great Scott. Military ID is active duty military ID.
Yeah.
Active duty military ID.
But that's only for active duty.
Only for active duty.
Now, here's the thing with that. Now, people need to understand that. So
My
if you
retirement
are
ID would not.
if you are a government civilian acting on orders, you will have to have your orders and your ID.
Hmm.
If you
Yeah.
have a retirement ID and you're going to go on vacation, that does not count.
Nope.
You can
It
have
counts
that.
to help you get your real ID, but
Yeah, you can use that to get that, but no, it
yeah.
does not count. So, and if you're close, I mean, obviously you can just drive. That's a given. But yeah, you absolutely have to have that. So, and a lot of people are going to be ticked off thinking that Trump is the one that enabled this, but this is actually a Biden plan. So,
Hmm.
yeah. For us, when we did our international travel, we did uh,
What
the
is TWIC?
pre-authorization and that flight quick access stuff. We spent like $150 to do all of that. It's
What
extremely
is
beneficial.
TWIC? What is TWIC? A TWIC card?
What is
Because if
what?
that's a sovereign citizen thing, no, they don't.
What is that?
You may think they do. $125 to get a TWIC card. I don't know what a TWIC card is. What is a TWIC card?
Transportation worker identification credential.
Okay.
Yeah, it's required if if you're in like a stewardess or steward,
Okay.
right? Whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, that's different, right?
yeah,
That's not for regular people like me.
yeah. So
Probably the same as like an active duty. It would count like the same as
here's
an active
exactly what
duty.
it says, and this is coming off of um,
Yeah.
the Transport Service Commission. The Transportation Worker Identification Credential, known as the TWIC, provides maritime transportation security workers for accessing to secure areas
Mm.
in the maritime facilities and vessels. Um, so yeah,
Hmm.
that's not going to allow you to get on an airplane.
Yeah,
Um,
that doesn't sound like it's for flights, you guys.
yeah, this is something that's utilized for uh, shipping and stuff like that. Now,
Ships, yeah.
you'll need one if you're going. I mean, this might work for cruises, um, but this does not replace your requirement.
For real
Um,
ID.
I don't believe it does.
It may now, but maybe I don't know if it will when the real ID is required. We're talking about
Yeah,
after May
interesting.
7th, Niels. After May 7th. There's new requirements. That was what I was talking about. And I've been watching all this sovereign citizen crap, you guys. So every time I see somebody talk about something I don't know about, I'm like, is that a sovereign citizen crap? Those things are funny. Oh my gosh.
What is sovereign citizen?
Oh my gosh, you don't know what sovereign citizen is? Okay, you need to watch some sovereign citizen
Oh,
YouTube
yeah,
videos.
the ones that think that they're exempt from the laws and
Yes. Yeah, I'm
okay,
not
yeah,
driving,
yeah,
I'm traveling. I have a constitutional right to travel. Yeah, on your hoofs,
yeah.
not in an automobile without a driver's license. Oh my gosh, it's hysterical. Oh, they're crazy, Jackalope. I know. It's so crazy. It is so fun. I have a driver's license, TWIC, passport card, CCW, 3 different fingerprintings. Yeah, but me, you still need a real ID to fly after May 7th. You can look on the site. There's a whole list of things that they used to accept that they'll show you that they no longer accept. You have to have a real ID.
Costa Rica, what about a government issued microchip? Well, yeah, we'll see.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. so funny.
Well, Elon Musk is talking about doing those for pay, where you can embed one in your hand and just swipe your hand to pay for stuff.
Well, I'm gonna die then.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna be
just
growing my own food and yeah. Yeah, maybe they might, I don't know. Maybe they might be a sovereign citizen, a police officer, but they still need a driver's license to drive a car. And they still have to follow the laws. They sure do.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway,
They're
it's just
cuckoo.
it's just another one of those dumb movements. Folks, make sure you're smashing that like, please. I appreciate you. Thank
Oh
you so
my
much.
gosh, it's so funny though. You need exactly ATS. You need an ID to fly, but not to vote. You should need a ID to vote.
Oh, we had to have one. They wouldn't even let us in the
You
building
know
without
how
presentation
upset
of.
I would be if my political party of choice told me that I was too dumb to get a driver's license or an ID card? Do you know how upset that would make me? Seriously. Like how insulting for them to say that a certain group of people are not anyway, you know what I'm saying.
No,
That's so
I get you.
insulting.
Yeah.
That's so insulting.
Stop listening to cops about sovereign citizens. It's not dumb. What about the whole
It
movement
is.
of thinking
It
that
is
you're
really
free
dumb.
and clear of laws and your requirement as a citizen of the
Yeah,
United
right.
States that you don't have to follow and abide by the laws or the Constitution? Yeah, I think it's pretty dumb.
Exactly.
So that's just people
Exactly.
wanting to have their. These are people who want to eat their cake and have it too.
You know who suffers? The people who they run into and they damage their cars or they run over in the sidewalk and they don't have the person doesn't have any insurance because they don't think they need to because they're free to travel.
Yeah. Kevin, I 100% believe that, brother. Kevin is like, I'm a real sovereign citizen. Yeah.
Those are the people. Those are the people. How come if that's true, they aren't just running around killing people or stealing or or when they get pulled over, they don't just drive away.
So, great
They
Scott,
stay there. They
let me
stay
explain
there.
something to you, okay? And I
Mm-mm.
know where you stand on this, and we'll be friends despite this statement. Being a non-citizen doesn't exempt you from the laws of that country.
That's right.
Period. End of story. Okay, I would love for any one of those yahoos to go overseas and try to pull that crap in Saudi Arabia, try to pull that crap in China, right? And so, okay, so I don't know where you stand. No worries, not a problem. But the whole premise of this is that if you're in a country, regardless of whether or not you
You
agree to
spend
the
their money.
laws, no,
You
doesn't
spend the
matter.
money. No,
If
they
you
do.
are if you are in a country, regardless of whether or not you agree with their laws, you are required once you pass their borders to comply with the rules of that nation.
Yep.
Period. End of story. And a lot of people are like, well, that's really oppressive. Well, I got it, but that's
They think they know about the laws.
exactly. So here's what I would equate them to. It's the religious Bible thumper who utilizes the Bible to justify their deceptive act. It's
Mm-hmm.
the person who utilizes contract law to manipulate and twist people and defraud people because, oh, look, the law tells me that I can do this. They don't take the intent of the law. They don't take the
Mm-mm.
understanding of what the requirement of that is. Again, it's just one of those things that, you know,
Well, and then one thing that cracks me up, one of the things that cracks me up is that no, they twist the Constitution, great Scott. They don't understand it. But anyway, whatever. Maybe they do. One of the Constitution things that they often misconstrued is they say, "Well, I'm not using my vehicle for commerce." Well, they don't read the entire thing that says that it doesn't have to be registered or whatever for if they're using it for commerce. If it's a commerce vehicle, if it's a vehicle intended to be used for commerce, it doesn't say anything about a privately owned vehicle. You have the right to travel on your feet, great Scott. You don't have the right to operate a motor vehicle without a license or insurance, because what if you run into somebody or kill somebody and you don't have insurance? Who suffers for that?
uh,
Not you, the other person. So how is that right? There's nothing in the Constitution about a motor vehicle either, a right to travel by motor vehicle either, great Scott. When the Constitution was written, they didn't feel like they needed to include that. Oh boy.
it's it,
Okay.
it's okay. But here's the thing: the entire premise of, again,
Yeah, it's being manipulated and twisted.
yeah.
Exactly. For
And
their own
so
purpose.
I get it. Okay, here, flat Earth. Let's talk about that too, right?
Mm.
Let's go ahead and let's stir up that hornet's nest too, right?
It's
Um,
all a conspiracy.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Um, Too deep a conversation for short comments. Yeah, I mean, you have to actually
It's
break
not.
it down
You'll
and
still
go,
go to jail. The end result will always be the same, Great Scott. If you don't follow the laws, you're
yep,
going to jail.
yep.
That's the end result will always be the same. You can believe what you want to believe, but at the end of the day, if you don't follow the rules and the laws, there's consequences. So, and I didn't write that, but I see the result all the time.
Yeah, and again, people will use and manipulate. And I've talked about, and this is one of the one Bible verse, and I'm not going to get into Bible thumping, but I will say this. One of the most misconstrued Bible verses is Jeremiah 29:10. I know the plans that I have for you to grow and to prosper you. What people don't realize about Jeremiah 29 is that Jeremiah 29 is also about telling him, you're going to go through some nasty shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be oppressed. You're going to be beaten up. You're going to be jailed. You're going to lose your country. You're going to go through serious hardships. You're going to experience massive suffering. But in
You'll never
that,
do it
stay true,
alone.
right? I'm here
Mm-hmm.
with you. And a lot of people go, "Oh no, it's just this. Look, he's got I'm in a good place. I just need to." And it's like, I understand that content of trying to be happy, trying to be whatever. But people will use and manipulate the Bible. They'll manipulate laws. They'll manipulate the Constitution. They'll manipulate the words of others to justify, and it's a justification. Bar no mark, make no mistake, it's a justification for their actions. Period. End of story. They want to have justification for certain things. And so they will utilize whatever in the terms that best fit their need, right? Um, so again, if you look at, and it doesn't matter what form of you're talking about, right? Um, there are people out there who will learn enough about something, whether they understand it completely or not. They will learn enough about something to say things. And we see this in the coin hobby too. We see this in coin channels where they give you just enough right information to mislead you, but it's not actually the right information that's going to benefit and help you in the hobby, right? There are people who understand just enough about a topic to fool you or make you believe that they know what they're talking about. And they will add information, they will add pieces into it, and they will manipulate the conversation based off of the little bit that they know, simply because they know that if they utilize this argument, it's going to cause controversy, it's going to cause strife. They can delay or derail whatever they think is supposed to be happening. It's just another locus of control, but it's the control that they want. Just like, and I'm not going to get into exactly what I want to say, but Paula said this with DEI. DEI doesn't work. We've heard people say it doesn't work. They've explained different places it doesn't work and why it doesn't work. If DEI works anywhere, it has to work everywhere. It doesn't work everywhere, therefore it doesn't work. It only fits in certain areas. So again, it's another manipulation, a locus of control that is enacted by a few that everybody else should appease that small little minority. And so this is something that's common. It happens not just necessarily within this or within this discussion that we were having regarding the sovereignty and all that stuff. People are going to take and they're going to manipulate the information that they have for their own benefit. Period. End of story. It does not matter what you think you know about something. And this is something about the law. You come to Texas and you drive 85 miles an hour down a 75-mile-an-hour road, you get pulled over, and it's like, well, there were no signs. It doesn't matter. You are supposed to know that there are certain areas. So it doesn't matter if there's not a sign for 5 miles. There's a mark that you're supposed to know that, again, you have a sign that tells you that the speed limit's changed. But if you are, and I guess the highway in 85 is probably a bad example. Let's use a 2-lane, no marked line in the middle of the road. So if you go down, you have an extra wide lane. What is the speed limit on that particular road, right? That particular speed.
Water.
Huh?
I just said good morning, Dirty Water.
Oh, hey, what's up, Dirty?
I have to answer the chat when I see something because it goes by too fast. I
get you.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't matter if you don't know what the speed limit is on that. They can give you a warning or they can ticket you. But if you argue with a cop, gigawatts, you're going to get a ticket, right? But again, I don't care what you say. I don't care how you say it. I don't care what you think you know. If you're in a country, you're bound by their laws, right? Yeah. There is nobody who's above them. Now, there are people who know loopholes and they know ways around it. And this is what I'm talking about. That's that, they're trying to avoid the locus, they quote unquote locus of control. But it's just about people wanting what they want, right? They only want to pick out the good stuff that fits what they want to do. They don't actually take the whole thing into account.
And the Bible even tells us to obey our government. So
diplomatic immunity is a thing, but yep. Diplomatic immunity also has its boundaries. Now, there are certain things that a lot of the media, TV shows, movies have manipulated what diplomatic immunity is. Lethal Weapon was a great one that actually manipulated the term of diplomatic immunity, making people think that they could not be touched. That's not entirely true. There's just another mechanism, another mannerism in which those things have to happen. Fully understand. Happens with Frosty and me all the time. Frosty thinks he's right until he realizes that I'm always right.
Right.
Yes, Tiger, that is true. Fortunately for us, it is not quite that often of an occurrence because I don't very often talk about being right. So,
Right.
I hope you're doing well, bud. Hope you had a great shift. He worked the
Ego is the
late
oldest
shift at the
form of control.
hospital.
Actually, it's quite the opposite, Kevin. The Bible explains to us how we were given free will, and it is the greatest story of love, because knowing that we could not control ourselves and that we would sin no matter what, God sent us the greatest gift of all, his son, who gave the greatest sacrifice anybody could give, lived a perfect life, and died a horrible death so that we didn't have to, because God knew that we were going to continue to sin and be out of control. And it's just a way for us to teach us how to be loving and be forgiving. And it's not about control. If God wanted to control us, he never would have given us free will. We'd be all little puppets in heaven, just, I love you, God. I love you, God. I love you, God. I love you, God. He never would have given us free will if he wanted to control us, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, Neil. Law is very difficult. It's very very robust, and you really have to understand the intent of
I don't live in
laws.
fear.
Um,
I live in the opposite of fear. It actually tells you not to live in fear. The Bible tells you, it directs you not to live in fear. Fear not.
yeah, and again, I mean, everybody, you know where I stand, you know where Paula stands. We're good with that. No big deal. We
Yeah.
don't have to get into a real dig into.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
but
Absolutely not.
but here's
I'll
the thing,
never
and
be
this is where I
fear.
can respect other people's belief. Yeah, exactly. Fear the wrath of God.
That's different.
But
I do fear the wrath of God.
if you look, we're going back to this sovereignty thing. You know, Romans states that you're supposed to obey the government, right? Because there's no government
Hmm.
that God hasn't put in place. And people are like, well, what about a tyrannical government? Stuff happens, right? The world is full of chaos and disorder. Um, but yeah, we're not going to resolve any religious discussions in this chat.
Mm-mm.
It's just never going to happen. This is why a lot of people don't want to talk
Mm-mm.
about it. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter whether or not you agree with us. The fact of the matter is, we just get to have the conversation. That's the
They
important
are,
piece,
John Hannah.
right?
Pre-death and post-death. Yes, they are, John Hannah. They are old. They are. We no longer live in the ways of the Old Testament because we were given that gift. You can accept it or not. That's your free choice. I hope you do. And if you ever want to talk about it, you know how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, well, but Kevin, here's and this is what's funny. Okay, true or false? Atheists are religious. I love this argument.
I know.
True or false? Atheists are religious. Atheists base statement off of faith.
Yep.
It's true. And people that say no religion, again, it's important to understand what is meant in the context. Now, so when we talk about that, it's not that there's no structured, no religious tendency. It's the organization, right? What's the premise of the organization? But regardless of whether you do or don't believe in Christ, whether you do or don't believe in Buddha, whether you do or don't believe in Allah, whether you do or don't believe in your spiritual centeredness of oneself. Um, there is always faith associated with that. And so, because you believe, it's a great example I was given years ago regarding faith is people who argue faith have never sat in a chair. And it was like, what the hell are you talking about? People argue faith. It's like you sit in chairs every day in the intent that the person who built that did what they needed to do, that they followed the process, that they built something strong and sturdy, that it didn't get damaged in shipping. And when you sit down in a chair, you have faith that that chair is going to hold you, right? Um, so, John Hannah, it's impossible to hold no beliefs. It's a fundamental impossibility. And I'm gonna kind of end the religious conversation here.
Okay.
You saying hey to me?
So anyway, my whole point was if you want to fly, you may want to think about getting a real ID before May 7th. Because
I don't know who the father of immunology is.
I don't know there.
Yeah. But again, to each their own, right? This is, yeah, it's absolutely a rabbit hole. But again, it's one of those things where I don't care. It's not that I don't care. Let me take that back. I don't I don't mind that you have different structures and beliefs and thought processes that I do. Not at all.
Too like you.
What I want to do is have the conversation, right? Um, let's talk about what's going on. And at the end of the day, if we agree to disagree, we're good. It doesn't really matter. But do not ever come anywhere and talk to me and tell me that it's your opinion only. Because if you're going to tell me your side, you're going to let me tell you mine. If you don't want to do that, we don't need to have a conversation and we just won't get into it. So it's a matter of respect. So it doesn't matter what we talk about in this channel, it doesn't matter what we do. If you're going to express a point, you had better allow me to express mine. If I express a point, I'm going to allow you to express yours. I'll tell you why I don't disagree with it, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I will tell you that you don't understand it, and I will tell you that it's being manipulated, but you can tell me that you don't agree with me. And that's fine, no big deal. But this is how we agree to disagree. That's bottom line. That's what matters. So, anyway, fun conversation. A lot of people like to steer clear of this. I don't mind it. I don't mind having political conversations. I don't mind having that because I'm firm in the faith. I'm firm in believing who I am and what I am, and I got zero issue with it.
Well, we're directed to speak to non-believers, right? If we just spend all our time talking to other believers, who are we going to lead to Christ, right?
Well, but you can't.
Who are we going to plant? Who are we planting that seed? You know,
yeah,
we got to plant that seed somehow.
And again, nobody ever learned anything by only looking at one point of view.
That's right.
Right? You have to look at things from multiple points of view in order to understand something. And I'm going to tell you this. If your faith is so wobbly that somebody challenges you and you crumble, you need some prayer, brother. Yeah, because I mean, again, have stance, have belief, and have ferventy in what you believe. I don't care if it's not the same thing I believe. Stand by it. The father of immunity is Edward Jenner. I'll have to look at this and see what he has to say regarding.
Most of the time too, you're not going to lead somebody to Christ by talking about him. They're going to see your actions.
How you act.
Yep. They're going to see it in you. So I think that's more important. The discussion can come later, but sometimes they'll go, "Guy, there's something about that guy, or there's something about that girl." I'm really drawn to them, or they're always happy, or not always happy, because nobody can always be happy. Lord knows I'm not. Ask my pastor.
Yeah. And again, the conversations that happen in here, and this is something that I've talked about. Is Tiger still here? This is something that I've talked about with Tiger. It's like, look, I have zero issue talking hard topics, zero. And you can be absolutely adamant with me. And it's like, hey, I know where you stand on this. Like Great Scott just a minute ago. No, we haven't had this conversation. You don't know where I
Yeah.
stand. You know what?
I
That
love
is actually he's correct, right?
I've
That was
disagreed with him many times, and I love him dearly, though.
right.
So
Well,
he may not feel the same way about me anymore, but I love him dearly.
but the
And
point in what I was trying to make is that even though I have viewpoints on stuff, it's okay to say, hey, bud, we haven't talked about this. You don't know where I stand. And that is a positive assessment. If I would have been let to go on my discussion, that truth wouldn't have been brought into it, right? So you need to have discussion. You need to be able to have that discussion and have those conversations. Um, yeah, and again, this is
yeah,
thing. So when Great Scott says no, you don't know how I stand because we haven't talked about it, he was
yeah,
100% correct. We haven't sat down and had this conversation. So I'm making an assertion based off of what he said in chat. And those are the things that challenge people to say, well, I whatever. And then they end the conversation, they walk off. These are the things that we do too frequently, right? We oh well, I don't like what you're saying. I cut you off. Um,
mhm.
let's have the hard conversations. I don't mind doing that here. I have zero issue with it, right? I know Kevin, if you've been watching the videos, um, I'm talking about some very hard U.S. history when it comes to the
Oh,
commemoratives,
oh, God,
right?
well,
Some information that is there that a lot of people will be like, "Man, why are you focusing on this?" So because it's something in U.S. history that we have to pay attention to. But why are we commemorating this? Well, we're commemorating this because we are told to review and look at it and understand our history.
Morning, Azure.
What were people? What were the thought processes? What were happening um, to do? What were happening during that time frame for somebody to come back and say, "Hey, we need to commemorate this." Um, was it an intent of changing history, or was it to remember something that happened? It was an atrocity. A great example of this is when I was walking through the streets of Europe. Do you know there's one city in Europe that isn't allowed to have any of the Holocaust plaques on the ground?
Wow.
They're not allowed to. By law, they're not allowed to do that because that's
Still,
where a
huh?
majority of the atrocities occurred. But you walk
Mm.
all throughout Europe and you see these plaques. A commemorative doesn't necessarily mean that it's
You
commemorating.
showed those.
Yeah,
You showed those when you did your video
yeah.
after you came back.
A commemorative plaque doesn't talk about something good that happened. It's not You're not commemorating something good. Commemorative coins, commemorative things sometimes talk about the atrocities that occurred, and it's
Mm.
important for people to understand what happened in this and why certain people suffer and what happens. In some places, they have commemoratives, yeah, invisible. They do have things to make people feel better, but not all commemoratives are that way. So it's important to understand the history of things. This is why in my commemorative series, when I'm talking about the commemorative half dollars and what's going on with these particular coins, why I'm including
Yeah.
some very difficult histories. Why I'm looking at, hey, you may not agree with this, but again, this is a very important aspect of why this occurred, and you have to understand what led up to this. And yes, they celebrated 100 years of this state being in place, but what took place during that 100 years? What's included in that state's history, and what do we need to remember from that? So when you watch those not necessarily with the belief that they're all going to be good. Some of these are going to be very difficult. On Wednesday, we're dropping the Panama Pacific one, and we're talking about some of the things that happened. They talk about the French.
Ah.
I love that series, by the way.
BMAX Mel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So talking
Mm-hmm.
about those coins, but there were two efforts in the channel. There was the French aspect that failed, and then there was the U.S. aspect that succeeded. But there were things that happened in the French building of the Panama Canal that were far better than what happened when the U.S. took over control of it. So there are positive things to see and view, even when looking at a negative side of a conversation. So
Are we going to take that back?
um, I don't know.
What's your opinion on that?
Okay,
What's
so
the chat's opinion on that? What do you guys in chat think? Do you think we're going to take the Panama Canal back? I think we should, but that's just my opinion.
I have an opinion. I'll wait until
Even said
people
no,
in
he doesn't
chat.
think we're going to take it back. Visible River Ranch said hell no. Jackie Stackler said we will. Red Soul, I think we're going to take it back.
Trump has made comments about it. So let me ask. Panama
But it
Canal
was
is very
originally
trendy.
built for our military, wasn't it?
Say again?
It was originally built for our military, wasn't it?
No, it was built for trade commerce, because it was too
Originally built for
expensive. And
military travel.
no, it was too expensive for ships. Now
Why?
they did
Because
do
China's
military.
threatening it. That's
Yeah,
why, Joe.
yeah. We'll talk about that in here just a second.
Yeah.
That's going to be that's my premise, a security issue.
Yep.
But
Right.
the Panama Canal, because the Cape of Good Hope in the southern tip of South America is extremely treacherous seas. There is a large swath where it is the worst weather in the world. Down the tip of Africa, again, same thing. There's just some horrible seas when you have to cross down there. It's a 5,000 mile journey, 8,000 mile journey. Can't remember what the number
Well,
is off the top of my
we're
head.
not talking about closing it. We're just talking
No,
about taking over control of
yeah.
it, right?
So, but the
Prevent
purpose of
bad
this,
things from
yeah, the
happening.
purpose of this is to reduce the amount of distance traveled and the
Yeah.
security of the ships. The other
Right.
reason is that Panama wasn't the first choice for the U.S.
Mhm.
Panama wasn't the place that they wanted to build the canal. They actually wanted to build a canal in Nicaragua. Nicaragua was the original place. There was a giant
Gave
lake
it
there
away.
that would have served as another hub and port. Um, but it was a much longer, much wider build.
Mhm.
But there was a reason that we wanted to pull Nicaragua. There are actually a couple of different reasons why we wanted to do Nicaragua. And so they ended up when the Panamanian effort by the French failed because of cost and lack of interest, the U.S. Was propositioned after a few years, finally made the determination that we're going to go with it, and they chose the Panama Canal. Now, right now, Trump's talking about taking it back over because of concerns against
Right.
China. Um,
Right. That's
I,
all I know about. Like, I don't know much about, I
yeah,
am not a history buff. I've learned most of my history in the last 10 years through coins. So I always hated history until I got into coin collecting. I don't know squat about the Panama Canal other than the threat that is happening right now, and the reasons behind him, what Frostbyte was just talking about.
yeah.
So it makes me nervous if we
Invisible
don't
River says that
I'm
the
nervous
Panama
about
Canal is not the only way to cut the miles. It's not the only way to cut the miles, but the one thing that the Panama Canal did is it allowed for
it.
an increased size
Really,
of
Kevin?
tanker and an increased. Um, yeah, Kevin,
Okay,
you need to read, brother.
I think
Um,
he's joking. He's
yeah, he's
got to
got to
be
be
joking.
joking. Yeah, there's the smiley face. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and so, but the one thing about the Panama Canal is that when they did the redrudge of the Panama Canal, they did the new fitting in 2007. They allowed for a new supersized tanker to go through. It's the only place that those major tankers are allowed to go through. So some of those,
Have you been through it?
um, no, I've been to it, but never. Actually, no, I did go through it when I was in the
You
Navy.
did?
Yeah, when I was in the
Oh,
Navy.
I would
It was
love
an
to go through it.
8 hour trip.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Has
Um,
anybody in the chat gone through it?
you have to go through 5 locks to get up to the
Yeah, I
top,
don't
and
know how
then
many locks, but I have seen it.
yep,
Yeah.
and then it might be 7. I think it's 7 locks total. It's like 3 on the Atlantic side and 5 on the Pacific side. I can't remember what the number is. Um, but
When tankers get stuck. I think so, John Anna. I think I remember hearing about that. One of them getting stuck and caused all kinds of problems, and that was just in 2020 or something, wasn't it? That a ship got stuck in there, and that's what caused all like the backup and all of the shipping.
I don't know if it happened in
I
the
don't remember.
Panama Canal. I know that there was a big major tanker issue. Um,
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
oh no no no! You know what you're talking about? You're talking about when they had the drought. The water levels were
Suez
so low.
Canal.
Yeah, the Suez Canal. That's the other one. Um, there was another one that happened with a major accident that happened inside of near Singapore. Singapore had one that there was a major issue, and that one jammed up. Like that was horrible. But the major one was the Suez Canal. That's the one where
Okay.
the Ever Given, I think, is the name of the ship.
Hmm.
It's one of the largest ones. It's
Maybe.
actually taller than some of the skyscrapers. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So that was Suez Canal. But then again, there was another one that happened near
Okay.
um, the entry port or in one of the major canals there near Singapore. That was the other place that you had a major issue with those.
Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. I do like that idea. I do like that idea. But I'm all about America, so whatever. I am all about America.
Yeah. So,
Ooh,
ooh,
grandkids are waking up.
uh-oh, somebody's upset. Yeah, and again, we have a big tendency of doing that. Vote for Pedro, rebuilding nations after we've gone to war with them. And I definitely don't mind helping out other nations, but we shouldn't do it at the disparity of ours. And we have sacrificed enough. If we took some of the money that we send abroad and actually invested it into
2023.
really,
Okay.
really good solid systems at home, would be
Are
better for
stalled.
it.
So Jackie says August 22nd, 2023, more than 160 cargo ships and counting are stalled in the Panama Canal.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It's not because they got stuck. It's because of they couldn't go through it because of
Back
low
up.
water levels. Yeah, the
Oh,
the drought prevented them from being able to fill the locks, and so it was because they didn't have enough. And nobody was stuck in the canal; they were stuck waiting to get to the canal. And so that was 2023. But again, you're talking about 21, which was when the tanker got stuck in the Suez Canal. That's the one that actually got stuck and totally blocked up traffic. Um, and again, I want to say that ship was the Ever Given, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Yeah, yeah. It just the Panama Canal was one of those things where the water levels were too low; they couldn't fill the locks, so they just had to wait until they could get some additional water, get some rain, get some stuff built up, so they could get stuff through.
well, I have to go, you guys. I
Yep.
always love talking to you guys on Sunday mornings, but I got to get ready for church. So my New Year's resolution, can't miss a Sunday, or
That's a good call. All right,
not
my
supposed to
friend.
miss Wednesday either. But I already missed last Wednesday, so whoops. Anyway, all right, you guys have a blessed Sunday and
Yep, and go
Frostbyte.
check out Amanda's video.
Yeah, go check out Amanda's video on incused machine doubling, ejection doubling. Okay, bye guys.
Yoo-hoo. See you later, Paula. Well, fun conversation. We talk again Sunday chit chat. We talk about everything. We started off talking about $97 ASEs, American Silver Eagles, and we ended up talking about religion, politics, and the Suez and Panama Canals. So you never know what you're going to get here on Sundays, but I always appreciate you all coming in. Please make sure you smash that like on your way out. I appreciate you guys being here. Lots of good stuff happening today. Go check out the channels that are streaming, and I will see you guys a little bit later on. Remember that Wednesday, the Panama Pacific drops. That's going to be a fun video. It's a little bit longer than the other commemorative series, but if you haven't seen my commemorative series, go check it out. There's a lot of fun information in that. Um, Also, I'm doing something with my dad jokes. I'm going to step them up a little bit. You've probably noticed that with the last couple that I've dropped. So pay attention to some of the dad jokes. I'm hoping to drive more humor. Again, we are a hobby, but not only is it important to laugh and have fun with it, it's also important to protect it. So stay tuned for more good information. Go check out the channels that are listed over there and or up there or wherever it's located. And again, do due diligence. Do your research before you buy. Love you guys. Be well, be blessed. And I will see you guys